if a log catches it, yeah, it's probably gonna rip off if a log catches it. All right, what is up, everybody? It's been a little while now. It's been about a month or so that I've touched the truck. You guys can see a bunch of there's a nice fine layer of dirt on the truck as we speak. I don't even know where we left off, I'm not gonna lie. So I'm not too sure. But today, well, let me show you guys one thing here. So first part of the coilover brace is done. If you're wondering what that blue tape was, I was using that to see where the hood is hitting, and then I gently persuaded it with a hammer. It fits. If she fits, she ships. So still waiting for a couple more things to do the rest of the tubing, the coilover brace, and some gussets, but as of right now, that is it for right now. And then I think I'm gonna have to remake my intercooler tubing again, but that's how she goes. Whatever, it is what it is. But today I actually just got off of work and I don't know where my things are because I haven't worked on the truck in about a month and a half or so. But we're gonna finish up doing, or not finish, we'll try to finish up doing some brakes. So I got these brake lines, I bent them up. I'm gonna make tabs to connect the brake line to the frame. And the other thing I don't know exactly what I want to do is I'm not sure how to connect this brake line. I don't like it just sitting like this, so I would like to make some sort of bracket, maybe from the steering knuckle, from this empty bolt hole bent up or something that will connect to this brake line to hold it in place at least. But yeah, so I did order some bits and pieces. They're called E-clips. So I can show you guys what that looks like on this one brake line. So this is your E-clip. It's connected to the brake line, and I'll show you guys what it looks like not on the vehicle. Let me unlock this toolbox. Sorry, the lighting is really bad. I've been having a lot of issues with the GoPro and I don't have my E-clips. Where'd my E-clips go? I don't know where they are. Let me look for them. Oh, here they are. So these are E-clips. Now I'll set you guys up right here on this little bench thing that I got going. So this is an E-clip assortment that I just ordered off of Amazon. I usually just order a bunch of stuff, but these guys right here clip into whatever brake line you're using. Let's say this, it clips into this one of the slots, and that's going to go into your whatever bracket you're using. So I cut off a couple brackets here, which I also don't know where they went because I've been working on other cars and stuff. I'm gonna go look for these brackets and I'll show you guys how these work. Okay, so I'm back. So these are just some of the brackets that I cut off of the old brake system or whatever. Now, the way your E-clip is gonna work is it's this little clip that gets pushed onto your brake line. And get this to clip on camera. Oh, there we go. So that E-clip is now secured on the brake line. The way this is gonna work, you're gonna have a clip like this or just a frame bracket. You have your E-clip that's on that second notch. What's gonna happen is this is gonna be attached to your frame. So this is gonna go scoop up and then it's gonna go flush. See how that's flush like that? Once you do that, then you can take your standard brake retaining clip and then you can go ahead and you can push that guy. Once I get this thing on, stop making me look like an idiot. Push this guy on like this, and then that's gonna secure your brake line to whatever you're trying to hold down. So this will be attached to the frame on both sides. The one that I don't know how to do just yet is how to get it attached to the caliper. I'm gonna have to make a bracket for that, but I did cut off two of these. I did cut off 2 of these. I'm just not sure where the other one went. It's been about a month and a half since I've touched the Tacoma, and I'm back to working 2 jobs. I was on vacation for a little bit, which is how I was able to bang out a lot of the truck pretty quick because I had 2 full days off instead of just 1. So I'm gonna go look for that other clip, but the way I'm thinking we're gonna do this is we're gonna take this bracket here. I'm gonna attach the brake line to the hard line, and then we're just gonna weld this on to however way we need it to be. So it is a little crooked like this. I can always bend this or whatever to make it straight on or whatever. So it doesn't really matter that much. But I'm thinking it's gonna be down here somewhere, and then I need to figure out this line. But yeah, so that's gonna be pretty much it for mounting the top lines. Now for the bottom brackets, I don't know. I have no idea. We're just gonna have to figure that one out because the way it's routed, that's how Trail Gear gives it to you. I've seen a bunch of guys just run it like this, but I don't like having a hard line just sitting like this. I would like the hard line to be bolted on some way or having some sort of bracket. So I'm gonna go look for the second bracket, and then I'm gonna weld it on, and I'll show you guys what she's gonna look like, and that'll be reflected on the other side as well. And then we'll get to fabbing up some other brackets for the other side. Sorry the lighting is so bad. There we go. You're gonna see in some of the other podcasts that we have been recently doing that the lighting has been terrible. So I am gonna get a new camera because the GoPro sucks. And we're gonna get some other things just so it's easier to film. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and start getting a move on, getting this truck going. So yeah, I don't know if I showed this yet, but I have new wheels. So these are the new wheels that are going to be for the Tacoma. They're 15 by 10 Alcoa Challengers. Old school wheels, old school truck. I mean, is there really any other way? And we're going to get 37s for it. So I have to wait. Wyatt just got 37s for his truck, and those are the Toyos that I've been kind of eyeing up. So I'm pretty curious to see how they look on his truck before I order mine. I'm going to order it regardless. It's just that I want to run 37 treps, but I want to run a 15. I'm not running a 17. So because I can't run treps, they only make them up to a 35. I'm going to run Toyos. I wanted to run Mickeys, but they don't make the Mickeys in a 37 for a 15 anymore. And I'm not running Super Swampers because they're ass. So Toyos it is. I'm going to get rid of the BFGs. Probably use the BFGs on the 4Runner or the 80 series, but the 80 series is going to get bigger tires anyway. So yeah, let me go look for this bracket, and I'll show you guys the final, or not final, but let me show you guys the mock-up of how this is going to sit. Okay, so I found this is the other one that's going to go on the driver's side. I shall leave this here so I don't lose it. And I'm immediately going to lose it, guaranteed. But this is just a random clip that I have sitting on the side. But let me show you guys how this is going to sit. I need to go buy new line clips, but so we have the bracket just welded on right now. Get this sitting up good. And then your clip is going to go in like that. It's obviously not going to be this big. This is just a random clip, but that's going to hold your brake line in place. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to do the driver's side of the car now. I'm going to just weld on that bracket. And then that'll be it for the frame. Oh, that's where my other clip is. There it is. Let me just pull that guy off and go ahead and slide that guy on. So okay, there. So now you have a better idea. That's how it's gonna sit. It is angled a little bit. It's not gonna hit anything. But like I just said, I'm gonna go ahead, do the driver's side. I have to go to work in a little bit. And then Saturday, which will be the same video, but I'm gonna pull the tires back off the truck, and we're gonna work on the axle brake bracket, and then we can go ahead and mount the brake lines or get the hard lines mounted, and then the front brake system will finally be done. Taking a look at this brake line right now, I will have to do a little bit of heat protection on it. The screamer pipe off the wastegate is right here, so it's like real close. I'm gonna put some heat protection on that. and then probably on this other brake line right here. But so far, I'm really liking it. Now I just got to figure out that whole ordeal and figure out how I'm going to get that brake line mounted. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to do the driver's side, and then I will see you guys tomorrow, which will be the same video. And we're going to go ahead and do the axle brackets, and we can finally get the brakes done. And then the brakes will be completely done for the truck, and then we have to bleed them later, but that's a later date. The next things, oh, I'm not sure if I explained this either, but me and Wyatt put the old radiator back in the truck. It's not in right now, we took it out, but it fits. So I'm not sure why they tell you you can't use it. I'm assuming maybe if you're using leaf springs. But yeah, we can definitely use the stock radiator. I'm gonna get a aluminum radiator, and I'm probably gonna build like a tube down here just to protect the bottom of the radiator. But yeah, that's pretty much it. There's nothing really new that we did on the truck. Like I said, it's been sitting for about a month and a half now that I haven't touched it. So just need to remember, we gotta fill up the diff. We need to run our ARB air locker and stuff. We also need to fill the engine up because I haven't put oil in it yet. But yeah, pretty good progress so far. Hopefully we can knock out the brakes on Saturday. I'm hoping we can knock out the brakes on Saturday, fully done, which would be this same video, and we can, I guess, start mounting up that ARB air compressor and get that locked in. I'm thinking about putting it in the engine bay. I'm just not sure if I'm going to run the wires all the way back, or I'm not too sure on that. So we'll find out. We'll see how it works. But yeah, I will see you guys in a little bit. All right, good morning. So new day, or it's the next morning. And let's get the tires off so we can start making the brake line, or the brake line bracket. And I bought some steel just from the good old Home Depot, just so we can make some brackets. So I'll put this right here. And there's also some square tubing. I'll let you guys figure out what that square tubing is for. But let's get the tires off. Alright, so I got the tires off the Tacoma. Now, I'm thinking what I might do here is there's this other hole. I think that's still just to align the shims. But I think if I get a short enough bolt and I can make a bracket that can come like out and then this way, and that way I can make another one like that, that'll just clip on to this brake line like this. You know, something like that. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna screw these brake lines on, and then I can start making a bracket or some sort. And then I have to figure out the routing of this line so it doesn't bind or whatever, because obviously you don't want your brake lines ripping off. But yeah, let me screw this guy in and then we'll start figuring something out. Alright, so second thoughts. I'm thinking something else here. So what if I was to go from the steering stop, so I can sandwich it between the steering stop like that, right? Put a bracket in there that'll come just straight up. See what I'm saying? It's like a straight shot with a slight bend at the top. I think that might be better. I would go from the bracket for the caliper, but I want as much threads on it as possible just because it's your brakes. So I don't want to have any less threads than that. But the steering stop, that's something else. We don't really, I mean, it's not that big of a deal. So I'm thinking I can make a bracket with a hole. This would go onto it. I'll tighten that guy down, and then the bracket would come straight up with a slight bend, and it could hook into this brake line right here. And then that could be our brake. But then again, it's also a pretty long run. I'd have to reinforce it, I guess. But It's just better than anything. I know guys run it without. I just don't feel comfortable running just a hard brake line just to dangle off the caliper, because you know, if it gets snagged by a branch or a tree, that's literally nothing holding that brake line on. It would just rip off, I would assume. So yeah, let me go ahead and bend some flat plate, I guess, some flat bar steel, and then we'll do one for the other side. All right, so I got this one bracket. Let me turn my YouTube off. I'm watching some YouTube while I'm doing this, and there we go. So that bracket, like I said, this is just one of the clips I had. I'm gonna go buy some more from Napa, but that's basically how she's gonna sit. It's not super ridiculously sturdy, but it's a hell of a lot better than just having a line there. I might reinforce this and maybe just throw like a little gusset on one side so it's a little stronger, because it is a pretty long run from there. But you can see what I was talking about. That's bolted through that tab, and they have a slight bend in it, and so you can see where that line comes through. So this little line is going to keep it in there. If I can do this with one hand, or I think I have to do this with two hands. So yeah, so this pretty much comes in and out like this. This unscrews, and then this line will just pop on off. So, you know, it's still easy to do the brakes. You just plug that guy back in, like so. Secure this brake line. Once that brake line is tight, then I can grab the clip and clip it into place. And now that's pretty sturdy for what it is. I might, like I said, do like a little gusset on this side down, just so it's a little bit stronger. And that's pretty much going to be the brake retention on this side. You can see I don't have a clip because I took this clip off of here, but that's on this side right here. That's the frame bracket, and this is off the axle bracket, and this is going to turn with the knuckles. So the next thing I need to test though is that when I do turn during full lock, if the brake line is going to hit the Ori, and if it does hit the Ori, I'm going to have to bend this out or something like that of the sort, because I don't want to be hitting the Ori over and over and over again, and that's going to create a possible tear or cut in this line. So I think we might be okay, but only one way to find out. I'm going to go in the truck, I'm going to turn the steering wheel all the way to the left, and then we'll see if this guy hits. But yeah, that's pretty much the brake line set up to hold the brake lines in place. I know I said I was going to do the ARB air compressor today, but I think we're going to save that for another day. Probably when we do the electrical and I wire the battery in the back, then we can have a better idea of where we want to mount that compressor. I do want to mount it somewhere like in there or something, like in the inside, but it's a really small compressor, so I'm not sure where I'm going to put it. You can really fit it anywhere. You can literally hold it in your palm of your hands. It's tiny, and it's just for the front locker. It's not to fill up your tires. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna go steer the tire all the way down, make sure we have clearance. Once I verify if we have clearance or not, then I will go on to making the other side, because it'll be the exact same way. And then I'm gonna go to Napa, because we need actual brake line clips. I don't have any. I had a bunch. I don't know where they are now. So let's get to it. Alright, so I turned the truck. I can steer a little bit more than this. I just have to adjust the bump stop on the other side. There's little steering stops. But yeah, we have a lot of clearance. So look at that. So that's sweet. No need to worry about the brake line hitting the Ori, which was my biggest concern. But we're gonna move on to the passenger side. No need to show you guys that, but if you do want to know the process of what I did, it's very simple. I literally just took a tape measure, measured from the bottom of where the steering stop is to where the line is, and I went about an inch more, so it was 9 inches total. I made a slight bend to come out like this, and then I bent it back this way to match the brake line, and that was it. So just drilled 2 holes, one big hole for this side, the smaller hole for that side, and our brake line is pretty secured. So can't complain with that. If a log catches it, yeah, it's probably gonna rip off if a log catches it, but as for like small sticks and whatnot, it should be fine. A lot of the off-roading we do is in a lot of mud and there's sticks and shit in there, so I may do a little bit of a gusset on it or something just to make it a little bit more sturdy. But if a big enough log hits it, nothing's gonna stop that log. It'll rip the braided line straight off. It'll rip the threads out. I've seen it happen before. But yeah, that's about as secure as I'm gonna get that line as of right now. The reason why I changed my mind on going from the steering knuckle is if or when I do like rebuild the hubs, because I'll probably be servicing these guys every 10,000 miles or so, and just to make sure these guys are tight, I would like access to just quickly hit it with a torque wrench and just quickly torque them all down. But yeah, so those are all tight, those are all torqued, brake line secured. So now we're gonna move on to the driver's side, or passenger side, I must say, and we're gonna go ahead and do that hard line, or bracket for the hard line, and then we're gonna throw some paint on it, and then I'm off to Napa, and we're gonna look for some brake clips because I don't have any, don't know where they all went. So gonna do those, and then I think that'll be it for this episode. We did the brakes are 100% done. And I also gonna be putting a little bit of grease on this hub. It is starting to rust just a smidge, so I'm gonna sand this down and put a little bit of like just a light coat of like heavy duty grease, just so it doesn't rust and whatnot, and also so the rim doesn't get stuck, because if anybody has got the rims stuck on a hub, especially this long, you know the pain, especially when it's like your rim sitting here and there's rust build up here and you're over there fighting that shit to come off. It's an absolute pain in the ass. Sometimes the rim doesn't come off, it gets stuck. So yeah, I'll do that, and then that'll be it for this episode. I'm gonna go ahead, get everything painted, and I'll show you guys the final result. I'm pretty stoked on this. This went by pretty easy. I mean, I didn't think it was going to be very difficult, but there was just so much fabrication so far in this build. I'm tired of having to make anything. Okay, so just got back from Napa and I finished up and painted some of this stuff. This is the brake clips I was talking about, so that's going to hold the line in pretty securely. Can't move it left or right. There's a little bit forward and back movement in that bracket, but that's okay. Same with this one. This one's solid. That's not moving anywhere. So that's going to be our brake setup. I've already turned the wheel both sides. Nothing hits. So let me show you guys the passenger side. This is the passenger side of the truck. Same thing. Brake line is secured, both ends. Bracket is painted. Got the new clips in, so those are nice and secure. That line's not coming out, not going anywhere. And yeah, so that's pretty much that's basically it for the brake system on the Tacoma as of right now. I've been thinking about converting the rear to disc brakes, but it's just not necessary right now. So we're gonna leave them drum brakes, but everything on the braking system is done, so I can throw the tires back on. I'm probably not going to as of this moment right now, because I have an exciting thing going on in next week's episode, and that is to do with this. That's square tubing, and we are going to make a drive shaft for the front of this truck. Now, I've never done it. I've never done a square tube drive shaft. I've never ran a square tube drive shaft, but for $800-900 for a drive shaft, where I could possibly make one for $50, I think I'm going to try and do the $50 option. I do have to go look around the house and see if I have a double cardan joint. If not, I have to try and make my U-joints into a higher angle U-joint, and I can show you guys how that process goes. But until next week, I will see you guys later, and as like always, thanks for watching.